Hello and welcome again. In this video, actually, we will design a awesome website that is for mental wellness. And in this project, actually, we will use React and Tailwind CSS, and also we'll also use motion, framer motion actually to design animations and lots of stuff. You can see how the animation is cool actually. Okay. So let me introduce this website. This is for mental wellness, and here you can see there are some navigational menu. This is the company logo, and here is a contact button. And you can see this is the hero or banner sections. If you just refresh, you can see it's have a cool animation, and here a get started button. Then if you scroll, you can see the animation is working, and you can have the toggle button here. You can just simply toggle based on these categories. You can see every time it's actually based on this category. Here is another's. This is the cool features actually. Okay, so after then here you can see you will have these options and a cool animations, but here you can see we will have a player. This is a play button, and if you click this play button, you can see a YouTube video is rendered here. It will show a YouTube video. You can integrate any video if you want. Let me close. So here you can see a close button. Then you will have how this step works. You can see firstly you have to form fill up, then we'll get matched and we'll schedule a book calendar. Okay, so this process will work. This startup, then we will have pricing sections. You can see this is based on the price, and you can see every time based on the packages, you can see the services rendered here. Three items, you will get three service here, four features here, and here it's also four features. Okay, and you can see this is the pricing tag, and everywhere is a get started button. What if anyone just click this get started button? Can you imagine? Here if anyone just click this get started button, it will redirect to the book appointment sections. You will have a form to fill up, and then you will have to just send the message. We will show these features within a few seconds, but before that, after this actually, after this pricing, you will have a client's review, and you can see by default we'll have two clean review, and it's better. You can see how amazing these features is. If you have more than two, then you can render. Actually we will have a array of objects, then we will show it here. And after then actually this is the most important thing. This is actually book appointment sections. So you can see here some text and some informations. And what if you want to just provide information, you can see here you will provide your name, here you will provide your email, phone numbers, and your locations. And then if you write any message, so this is a sample message. Okay, and then if you click this send button, you can see your message is sent. Thank you. And this is your name. You can see it's your name, and then it says you submitted your query. And after then you can simply close it. Then you will have a simple footer, and you can see the animations. Here's the animation is applying also. And now let me show you a cool features actually from the bottom. What if I click this home button? You can see the home is selected, and the color is now actually this green color. Okay, and what if you click about us? You can see this is going to the about us sections. Click me testimonial sections. So testimonial section is showing. If you click service, then service section will be rendered here. And finally if you click this contact us sections, then book appointment sections will appear in front of you. Okay, so that is the magic of this websites. You will have a cool navigations. Look how it's working perfectly, and the animation is cool and perfect. I will show you how you can create this type of animation using framer motions. So I hope you will enjoy this. And now right now let me show you this website is also responsive for the mobile devices. You can see right now you will have two sections, and if you just reduce, you can see we will have is still the navigation bar, And right now you can see the navigational item is now smaller and the image is now uh, at the top, and then there is text. You can see, let me just show this way. Here you can see every time the cool animation is working properly. Okay, so you can see it's a perfectly responsive website and there is no scroll bar. I will show everything. You can see the form is something look like here. Then this is footer, animation is working. Now, what the actual thing is here. Here we have a beautiful navigation. So you can see this is a navbar, and if you click this, then you can see it's now bordered, and here's the navigational item. If you choose any of this, for example, if I click the pricing sections, you can see the pricing is here. If you choose service, then service will appear here. You can see testimonial. Testimonial section will load here, so it will perfectly work. If you click contact us, then contact us sections will be appear. You can see the perfect think it's on mobile devices. Okay, I hope you will just enjoy this. And finally, at the end of this project, I will deploy this projects on Vercel so that you can just deploy these projects and show your portfolio, or you can show these projects on your CV. So let's get started. We'll make these websites and I will provide all the assets and images you need. So after the intro video, what we have to do, we'll have to set up our project. So let's get started. For this, actually, let me minimize it. Here on this desktop, actually, we'll create a folder. So here, let me create a folder. So we'll define the folder name will be mindleaf. So mindleaf, it's a mental wellness website. So you can just define mindleaf React project or something like this. You can use hyphen instead of a space actually. Okay, let me press enter. Now we'll open this project on VS Code. So for this, firstly you can open your VS Code. So this is my VS Code, and right now you can see this is actually empty projects. And here what you have to do, you have to drag this folder and paste it on your VS Code. Look, I am just pasting it here. So when I paste, you can see at the top, this is the project name, mindleaf react projects, and this project is rightly, it's empty. And now here actually we'll set up our Vite React project. So that's why you will have to open your terminal, and let me just zoom it so that you can just see it clearly. So I'm just zooming it. Okay, so I think now you can just see it properly. And what you have to do, you have to open your terminal. Here you can see three dots, and you can just open new terminal by pressing Ctrl Shift and this backtick sign. This is actually backtick sign. Or you can simply drag this and open your terminal. This is your terminal, and you can see here this is your folder name. So now we will have to create a Vite React project. So that's how we will have to define npm create then Vite at the rate latest. So this is the command for creating a Vite projects. And additionally here we will define a dot slash. This dot slash means we will install project in this current directory or current folder. Okay, so that's why we will additionally add dot slash, and after this we will have to press enter. So you can have to choose a framework. We'll have several options. From here we will choose React framework. You can see this is the React is triggering here, and you can use your up and down arrow key from your keyboard to switch between every framework. Okay, so you will use your up and down arrow key, and when this React is triggered and you can see this is underlined, you will have to press enter. Then you will have to choose your language. Here is some variants. You can use TypeScript, you can use TypeScript with SWC, and for this project actually we'll choose JavaScript. Again, you will have down and up arrow key to move, and when JavaScript is selected, then we will have to press enter. Now you can see here are some files and folders, and So here you can see some icons. It's actually for material icons. I use an extension that is for, but it's actually not a great deal. You can have this type of options. We will have a folder, then we will have src. Inside this src we will have asset folder, we will have app.jsx, index.css, main.jsx, and here on the root directory we will have index.html, package.json file, and vid.config.js file. This is actually a standard folder structure for vid projects. Okay. And next, what you have to do here, you can see now you have to run these two commands one by one. So we can simply copy it and click here and paste it, or you can simply type it manually. So let me type it npm install, and then let me press enter. So right now here you can see there is no node modules folder included, but after this command actually we will get a node modules folder that will just make sure all our node packages will be included in this folder. So wait until it's completed. So as I said, you can see a node modules folder is created by npm install command. And now the second command is we'll have to define npm run dev. So if you want to run a vid project, then this is the command npm run dev. You can simply type it here, npm run dev. Okay, let me press enter, and you can see this is a localhost URL, and you can check your website here. So what you have to do here, if you hover, you can see it says you have to press Ctrl and click this URL. So let me press Ctrl and click here. Then you can see your project, vid project is set up done. So after this project setup, what you have to do, we'll have to install Tailwind CSS on our project. So that's why here we will go to tailwindcss.com. So you can simply search Tailwind CSS. Then you can see this is tailwindcss.com. This is the official website. Let me click here, and you can see this is the website. From here you will have to click get started, and if you click get started, you can see this is the installation steps. You can install this actually with a few steps, but from here you can see we will have a different options. You can play with Tailwind CLI. We will have to use post CSS. You can play with CDN, and for this project actually we will just click this framework guidelines because we are just choosing vid for our project. So that's why we will have to choose framework guidance, and then we will choose the vid options, and then you can see a step by step process how you can just integrate Tailwind CSS and also the project setup. As we have created our project, so we don't have to follow this first one. We don't do this on. We will start from the second step as we have already set our projects. So here what you have said, you can see we'll have to install Tailwind CSS and pre-dependencies. So that's why what you have to do, you have to run these two commands. We'll simply copy it, and right now here you can see on the terminal our project is running. So how to stop this? So to stop this you have to press Ctrl C. Then you can see the project is stopped now, and you have the terminal to run command. Okay, so simply you will copy the first command, and then by pressing Ctrl V you will paste it. Look here what we are going to install. We are going to install Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and auto prefixer as dev dependency. Dash D means dev dependency. Okay, so let me press enter. Okay, so this is installed, but how you can ensure is it installed or not? So to be sure, here you can see package.json file, and if you open this package.json file and go a little bit down, here you can see you will have dev dependency, and inside this dev dependency you will see Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and auto prefixer. That means the command we run here actually is successfully installed. Let me close this package.json file and open our terminal. Then we'll have to command this second line and we'll copy it. And right now here is no tailwind.config.js file. Actually there is no configuration file for tailwind css, so that's why we'll have to command this line npx tailwind css init-p. Okay, let me press enter, and within a few seconds you can see a tailwind.config.js file is created and postcss.config.js file is created. Okay, now we'll have to move to the step 3. So you will have to configure your path. So for this actually you will have to go to tailwind.config.js file. So let me go there. So where is our tailwind.config.js file? So this is tailwind.config.js file, and then what it says, actually you will have to replace this content section. You will have to copy this content section, and here you can see the content section is empty. We will have to replace it. So let me select it and press backspace and then Control V to paste it. So we'll replace this content sections. So the third option is done. Next, the 4 options, you will have to add some derivatives. So where you will add it to the src folder, then index.css folder. So let me copy it. We'll go to src folder. This is src folder. Then we'll have index.cs folder. Here we'll have some css code. Let me clear everything by pressing Ctrl A to select everything and backspace. Then we will paste it by pressing Ctrl V. Okay, so that is okay. After them, sometimes here you will see some warning. It's actually you don't have to worry about it. It's actually for unknown variables. So if you get that warning, you can simply ignore it. It's actually not mandatory. And then the fifth option is actually you will have to run your projects by this command. So let me run these projects by npm run dev. As we said, you can run your Vite project by this command. Let me press enter, and right now if you check your website, you can see your website is broken. And in the next video actually we will configure our projects and edit some configuration and customizations. Okay, so for the customizations, it can say that you have to go to app.jsx. This is the step number 6. So let's do that. We'll open VS Code, and here let me close the terminal by clicking the cross, and here also close everything. Where we will go to src folder. Then you will have to go to app.jsx. By default, you can see here are some code, and what you will do, you can simply remove all this code. So we'll select everything from this empty fragment and we will remove everything. And here I can see you can simply copy this h1 and you can simply paste it. Now if you check your website, you can see this is hello world from app.jsx. Actually this is our entry file. App.jsx is our entry file for these projects, and we can just remove all the unused thing from here. Okay, and by default there are some default key styling. So what you will do, you will go to app.css and remove all this styling from here by pressing Ctrl A to select everything and backspace to remove. So if you do this, then you can see your project start from here. You can test any tailwind css here. Let me close app.css, and if you write any css here, simply let me define text red 700. And now if you check here, so you can see this is actually red color. If you want to define text center, then it will move to the center position. Let me check it. You can see it's a center positions. If you want to add padding, you can simply define p for padding. Then you can simply define maybe 20, and 20 means actually 80 pixels padding. If you hover, you can see it's actually 5 gram and 80 pixels, and you can see it's padding from everywhere. Okay, so that is actually we can see sure that our tailwind css is working. Okay, next what you have to do, as we are customizing, we will have to go to actually tailwind.config.js file, and here we will have to do a little customizations. We will set up some colors in this project. If you check, here are some colors. This is our colors. This background has some colors, and we follow a color scheme. We'll have text color, we'll have some fonts, and so that's why we'll just customize that type of stuff here. So for this actually, here you can see this is the theme options. Inside this theme actually we can work with. So here we'll have a extent. If you want to override some css or some rules of Tailwind CSS, you can have to include it on this extent. So here at first what we'll do, we can just add some colors. So our website will follow some colors scheme, so that's why we will just define colors, then a colon, will have curly braces. Here we'll use colors. So you can see here on the banner, actually here on the banner we'll have a background colors. So we will define a name for this. Actually let me define a string. Here is actually hero bg, this is the color name. Then we'll have a colon, and here we'll have a color value. So the color value is actually hash 0 e1 on 22. So this is the background color. Then we will need to a paragraph color, so that's why here we'll define para. This is for actually paragraph color. We'll define the color will be a RGB color, so that's why RGB color. And here we'll define the value will be 0 0. Actually here is actually missing, so let me define inside this parenthesis. Actually we'll have the value, so 0 space 0 space, and we'll have a forward slash. Then we'll have to define this is actually 80%. Okay, so this is the paragraph color, and after then we will have a primary color. So that's why here we'll write primary, and then we'll have a colon. We can simply define double string or single string, it's actually not mandatory. We'll have 06 a055. So this is all the colors you will have to include it here, and I hope you can understand this is the all stuff color you need. And then we need to set up our font. So for this actually we will go to Google Fonts, and this is the fonts.google.com. So what fonts we'll use at first, when in this websites actually we'll have two type of fonts. Here you can see a fonts. You can use a extension to extract this font. So if you see what fonts is it, here you can see it's same font, and here is actually Poppins font. We'll have two fonts. Let me close this extension. It's actually Chrome extension what fonts. You can just search this extension by hot fonts Chrome extension or hot fonts extension. You can enable this extension. Actually if you need, I just use this extension to extract font from any website. So here as we are using Poppins font, here we'll define Poppins, and what you will have to do, you will have to click this. Let me clear a font is selected here, so we'll remove this font, and again let me go back. We'll search Poppins, and this is Poppins, and then we'll click this get font, and here we'll click this get embedded code. Then we'll choose this import option. Then here we will have a import options. You can simply copy this, and then where you will import, it's actually you can import it on actually index.css, or you can just use it on app.css. It's actually not mandatory where you will use, but let me use it on app.css. Here we'll paste it, and then what you will have to do, you can simply define the font by this way. You can simply define body, and you can define the font will be this font family. Okay, you can simply define this way if you want to check the fonts. So if you do this, and right now if you check your website, this is actually Poppins fonts. If I see, you can see this is the Poppins fonts, or you can just inspect, and here you can see if you scroll a little bit. Let me close this, and if you just make it above here, if I click this text, and then let me choose these options, and it says the Poppins fonts is applied, but we don't use this way. Actually, we don't use this way. We can simply customize our tailwind.config.js file. So here's tailwind.config.js styles. After this style, actually what you can do, you can simply define another thing. So that is actually font family. If you just type fonts, then fonts family, and then you will have curly braces and define a comma here. Now inside this curly braces you can just define fonts. So at first we'll define a primary fonts. So primary fonts means this is actually Poppins fonts. What you will have, you will have a clone, then we'll have a square brackets or third bracket, and inside this square bracket you can simply copy these things, actually Poppins and sans serifs, and you will paste it inside this, and here you will add the quotations. Okay, so this is the fonts, and then here after this we need a secondary font. So for this the secondary font's name is actually, so let me go back to the fonts, and here we'll search sign fonts. So this is actually fonts. We'll choose these fonts, and here click this get embedded code and import. Here it's actually, if you just define two things, you can simply, it's actually taking two fonts, and from here actually let me remove this province fonts. We have already that, so that's why here import again, and this is actually the fonts. You can simply copy this and go to the app.css. You can simply paste it here. So if you do this, next you can simply define secondary fonts, and we'll have a square brackets, and then the font family is this. You can simply copy this and paste it inside here. Let me add quotations. So your font is now applied. How you can just apply it? To apply it, actually here let me define font, and then if you want to apply the sign from, you can simply define secondary. So if you see, the secondary font is fonts family sans serif. Okay, and you can also check it here. Let me inspect, and if I just enable here, you can see the font is applied. You can check it from here. So the font family is sans serif. Okay, so this way you can simply customize your projects, and you can just define it properly. Okay, so this is the customization for your projects, and now the last customization, let me close everything, and from here we'll go to the index.html. Here you can just define your project title name. So that is actually mind, lib, mental, wellness, and you can just define here, and finally we will define React projects. Okay, and if you see this right now, you can see if you hover mind lib, then your just title is showing at the top. And next what you have to do, if you want to change these icons, actually these Vita icons, something like this, here we will have the icons. So for this, actually what you have to do, let me copy all the icons for this project. Actually I will provide the icons, so no worries. Here inside this public folder, sorry, here actually inside this projects we'll have to copy all of these icons. So let me copy it by dragging and drop. We'll just select this public folder and paste it here. Let me replace it. So look, we'll have a image, logo SVG, and we'll have a fab icons. So here we'll actually use the fab icons. So for this, as we are importing our image from the public folder, we'll have to define this way. We'll have to define dot slash public folder slash, you can choose this fab icons. As we are importing any images from public folder, we don't have to include dot slash public. Actually you can just define simply slash and your image name. So something like this, you don't have to define slash public to render it. Okay, so if you check right now, you can see mind lib icon is at the top. And again, for the customizations, we'll copy all our assets from here. So we'll copy all the images, and then let me keep it on the asset folder. Let me paste it here. So we'll do it. I will provide all the assets, so don't worry, you will check asset folders and get all the images, and you will get public folder for the logos and fab icons, so no worries about that thing. And let me close it. Next time actually we will start our main tasks. So actually this time what we will work, we'll work with this navigational bar here. If you check properly, we'll have a logo and this type of navigations will have active colors. You can see if you click any of these nav bars, you can see it will scroll to the uh, sections, and it's actually smooth scrolling. And here also we'll implement framer motions and all the stuff. If you click, you can see everything is working properly and active color is activating here. So we'll make this type of navbar, and if you'll check it on mobile devices, you will have this type of features. You will have a navbars, and if you click, you will see the options. If you click again, it will remove, and if you choose any of this, then it will just redirect to the specific sections. And again, if I show it on the small devices, you will show on the bar, but if you just enlarge your device size, then you will see it's actually showing this way on larger devices. Okay, so perfectly we'll design this navbar sections, and for this actually at first we'll have to go to the app.jsx. Here we'll remove this h1, and we can simply define a div. Here we'll have some class name. We'll define font will be primary font, so we're applying actually Poppins font everywhere, and where we need actually the secondary font, we'll use that. And here we'll define overflow y-axis, maybe overflow that would be x-axis 0 or something like this. Here we'll define, so here we'll actually define overflow x-axis hidden, overflow x-axis hidden, okay, something like this. But let me show you, when I just write something, for example, if I write text, it is suggesting everything. Look how you can get this suggestion. So for this, getting this type of suggestion, you will have to install a extension. So go to the extension tab. This is the extension icon. Here you will have to search Tailwind CSS. Maybe my internet is not enabled, so if you check, then you will find this type of extension. You will have to install this Tailwind CSS intelligence extension, and again you will have need another extension, that is actually ES7. You will have to install these two extension, ES7 plus React Redux, React Native snippets. These two extension you need to install, and I hope you can simply just, here you will simply see a install button, and you will have to click this install button. Nothing difficult task it is, actually we have already installed, so that's why I just not doing it. And here, to create our navbar, you can simply define navbar here, but it's actually not a great way. We can create a navbar component. So for this, here on the src folder, we'll create a new folder that is actually components, and inside this component folder, so we'll keep all our components. So at first, let me create a navbar. So inside this component folder, we'll have navbar.jsx rfce. As we installed ES7 extension, then you will get this type of suggestions. You can see it's actually creating a React components by pressing this command rafce, and let me press it. If you install this ES7 extension, then you will get this type of suggestions simply by writing rfce. So no worries, just install this extension, then you will get the suggestion. So this is the navbar is created. Now we'll import this navbar on the app folder. Right now, if you check your website, let me close all of this two stuff, there is nothing. But if you import navbar here, so let me define navbar and let me import. By pressing enter, you can see we are importing navbar from the components folder. So if you import navbar, then you can see navbar is here. So we can say that the perfect importing. Now let's design this navbar based on our website. So here you can see we will have three sections. On the sections we will have logo, we'll have nav items and a button. So for this actually we can customize it this way. Here we'll have a header sections. As we're going to use semantic tags, we'll have a header section. Then we can just define some CSS. So let me define class name. We'll define busy hero color. So we'll have a background color for the hero section. So that's why hero busy. So we'll apply this type of colors as we defining our CSS here. So hero.busy will apply this color. Then we'll define text will be by default white, and then we'll define some padding to the top and bottom. So that's why py that would be 6, then we'll have px that would be 4. Then here we'll have to define it's actually fixed on top, so that's why top will be 0, then left will be 0, then right will be 0, and finally we'll define a z index. That means it will at the top of 10. Okay, so if you define this, then let me check it. Here you can see a number is this. Okay, and this is the background color is applied. So after this actually what you will have to do, you will have a div. So let me define here, we'll add a new div, and then inside this div actually what you will have actually some class name. So let me define class name. Here we'll apply container will actually maintain your device with when you are on smaller devices, it will actually make your max with 768 pixels. If you are one more smaller devices, it will be 640 pixel. Then by default it will be 100 pixels. And then here after this container we'll have mx auto. That means your component will move to the center positions. We'll apply flex, then we'll define justify between items center, and then we'll define s will be full width. Okay, inside this div actually we'll have a two things. Actually here something will be for, we'll have actually three types of things. We'll have a logo, we'll have a logo, then we will have nav items, then we'll have button. Okay, so let's add the logo. We'll take a new div. Inside this div we'll have a anchor tag, and that will be slash here, and inside this anchor tag we'll have a logo. So that's why let me define img tag, and here we'll simply define, look, in this public folder we'll have a logo.svg. So here inside this src we'll define logo.svg. If you have issues to just simply type it correctly, you can simply define rename. Let me select, press Ctrl A to select all and Ctrl C to copy, and then you can simply paste it here. So if you do this and go back to your website, you can see your logo is here perfectly. You can apply some css on the div, but here at first let me define this is actually logo, and I will recommend when you use any image you must have to define a Walter tag. And after then here actually on this div what you will do, you can simply define text white, though it's actually not needed. We'll define text lg, and finally we will have to define font semi bold. So if you check nothing changes, okay, fine. Actually this is not needed. If you have any text here after this image, maybe new logo or something or logo text, then actually this will need it, but actually simply you don't need to apply this css. Okay, you can just remove this css. It's actually not mandatory to use, so let me remove it. So if I remove, still now it's perfect. And after this div we'll have to use this nav item. So for this actually we'll have a div. Inside this div we'll have a nav items, and inside this nav items we can simply define nav links. So we'll use a curly braces, and here let me define nav links. Okay, and these nav links will come from the top. So here after this navbar, you can simply make a nav variable. So let me define const nav links, and here we will have a parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis we will have a eval tag. Inside this eval tag we'll have li tag. Then inside this li tag we'll have a anchor tag, and then we can simply define by default we'll have a href, and first one will be home. And if you define home here, you can see this nav links variable will be rendered here, and you can see it's actually home. So this is perfectly showing. And what you have to do for this actually, we will, before we doing here, actually at the top we'll define a user state. So let me define some user state here. We'll define when the navbar is open, so that's why nav open, and we'll have set is open, and we'll define use state hook. We'll need this stuff within a few later, so but I am just defining it so that we can focus on the designing sections. After this we'll have another one, so that is actually active sections. So you can see when any items is active it will be colored, so that's why we need another use state hook, that is actually active section. And then set, let me copy this, let me define it here. The first capital letter will be capitalized, then we will have use state hook, and here we'll define that would be by default home. Okay, so by default home will be active. Then what you will have, nothing, we don't need to do anything here. We will have a step here. So here after this home, let me define some css. So inside this anchor tag here we can apply some css. Let me define class name, and we will apply dynamic css. So that's why we'll have to use curly braces, then backtick sign or caret sign. You can find that icons, that sign at the top of the tab key. If you check your tab key on keyboard, then you will find these icons. Then here we'll define text will be white by default, but when we will use dynamically when active section is equal home, then we will use a color, so that is actually is active, otherwise we'll have empty. So when actually the active section is home, then we'll simply apply a active color. So that's why here on the app.css will define dot active color, and this dot active color will be our primary color. So let me define color here. This color will be hash 06a 055, something this type of color, and we'll make it important, so it will be important color. And here we'll define body will be scroll behavior smooth. Okay, we'll have to include this two stuff here. And then simply after these, actually what you will have to do here, if you check right now, you can see home is by default selected because this is the root stuff. So home is selected. After then actually you can simply copy this li few times. So let me do it one time, two time, three time, and let me check how many times you need. Actually 5 times, 3 4 5. Okay, so for the second one, this is actually for services. Let me check, this is services, we'll have services, and here we'll also make it services, and we'll have services div here. So when that is actually services, it will be is active. Then after then we'll have about us. So this is the third one, actually second one, we'll have services about us, and here we'll simply define this is actually hash about, and here also will be about. Then the fourth one, that is actually pricing. This is pricing. Here we'll have pricing, and we'll have pricing here. Let me make sure the text is there. After the pricing, we'll have testimonial. So after this, actually this is testimonial. Let me define testimonial here and also testimonial here. So it will be a small letter, and last one is actually not needed. Let me remove it. So after testimonial, it's actually okay. So if you do that right now, here you can see all of this is here, but you will have to make it something like this. So that's why we'll apply flex here. So let me do that. Here you can see we'll have a div, we'll apply class name here. By default, what we'll have by default hidden. When it's on small devices, it will be hidden. On medium devices, it will be flex, and by default that would be flex grow. And then we'll have justify center. So that is the CSS all you need. And if you apply this CSS, you can see this is on the center, but it's actually not side by side. So that's why to move it side by side, here you can see we'll have a UL tag. We'll apply some class name here. So that's why here on the UL we'll have to apply CSS. So that would be font will be medium, then we'll have flex, then we'll have flex call. On the medium devices we'll have flex row, then we'll have on large devices we'll have space x8, then space y4, actually that would be space y4. Then we will have okay, here actually not the space y4. We'll define it for smaller devices, SM devices. Space x will be 4. After then by default space space y actually will be 2. And on the medium devices, space y will be 0. And finally we'll have some padding, so that's why p will be 4. On the medium devices we don't have padding, so p will be 0. So if you apply these things, then if you check your website, now you can see this is the thing is showing. Now we'll have a button here. So for this button, actually contact us button. So let's design the button. So for this button, actually here you can see we have already added a comments. So here for the button we'll have a new div, and this div will have by default class name, will have hidden, and by default on the medium devices we'll have block. Okay, here we'll have a anchor tag, we'll have hash contact, and then inside this anchor tag we'll have contact. Okay, and then actually let me check. You can see this is contact us. We'll have to apply some CSS. That's why here on the anchor tag we'll have class name. We can simply define text will be white, then we will have busy primary color, and then we'll have hover, and hover color will be busy primary, and we'll apply some opacity. So that's why //90. Then we'll have some padding to the x-axis 4, padding to the y-axis 2, and by default rounded. And if you do this, then you can see your button is this, and if you hover you can see the color effects. Okay, finally you will have Navbar for the large devices, but if you inspect it and reduce your screen size, you can see this is your logo. but it's actually not perfect, as this we'll have to use this type of icons here. So you can see this is the icons, we'll have to ensure it. So for this, for the icon actually, what you will have to do, is there, let me check. Okay, we'll have to need this type of icons, so that's why we'll go to react icons. So search react icons, and this is the official website. We'll have to import these icons. So let me copy this command. Then here you can see our project is running here, so we can simply split a terminal to get additional terminal. So let me click this split button. Then you can see a new terminal. Here you can run your command. On the left side the project is running, and on the right side you can run your additional commands. And make sure you are on the right folder directory. This is your folder name. Make sure the folder name is perfect here, and then paste the command. So here npm install react icons, so we're going to react icons here. Then this is installed, and then here actually we need a icon, something like this type of icon. So for this we can simply menu, search menu, then you will have a icon something like this. Hi, let me which type of icons we will use. So here is my thing, this is the perfect icons. Okay, so how to use it, you can simply copy it and then import it at the top. So after this line we can import it, then we will have to copy this. And now here let me close. After this div, actually after this button, actually we'll have a icons, so we can add a comment that is actually hamburger menu. We will have a div, and then we can simply inside this div we'll have a button. Inside this button we'll have this icon. So here we can simply define class name. The class name will be size 6. Size 6, actually that means we will have width 6 and height 6, that is actually size 6. So and here on the button we can just define class name, and that would be dynamically class. So that's why here we'll have curly braces and backtick sign. We'll have text white, then we'll have focus, text outline, outline none, and after then we'll have dynamic class. So as we have already defined a user state hook at the top, you can see, let me close this, you will have already user state hook. When is open, we can apply some class here. So we'll check if is open, then we'll do something, otherwise we'll have something. So here on the first string we'll define, we'll add border, then we'll have border white color, so that would be white color. And after then on this div, actually we can simply define class name. We'll define block by default, and on medium devices that will be hidden. Okay, so finally at the hint here on the button we can add a one click, and we can simply define a handle toggle buttons. Let me define a function for it. So for this, at the above of the navbar, let me define const handle toggle, and that would be a toggle function. And we can simply define this way. So this is the arrow functions, and inside this parenthesis we'll have to define set is open, and then we'll define not is open. Okay, that is the block for this handle toggle. And right now if you check your website, you can see here is the icons, and if you click then you can see a border, that is, and if you click again the border is done, but the nav items is not showing here. Why? So for this actually we'll have to write code. So let me close all of this stuff, and after this div, actually after this main div, so you can see this is button, then this is this div, and after this div, actually let me close this away. So after this div here, we'll have to define a command. So mobile nav items, something like this. And we can simply define parenthesis and we'll check is open. Then and operator here, we can simply define a nav items. So let me define in nav items. We can simply define nav items dot props dot children. Now if you check, actually if you click, then you can see all the children are showing here. And then here you can just simply add some css on this eval tag. So let me define class name. On eval tag we can just define flex column by default. Then we'll have padding 4. Then we'll have a space y3. Okay, and then you can see here this is now perfect. And after this eval we have a li tag, and then here we'll have a anchor tag. We'll define it contact. Then we'll have contact us. Simply here we will have a one click. Every time we'll get a events, then we'll simply make it event.prevent default. Then we'll have something like this. Here we will do some stuff, but right now keep it this way. Actually keep it this way. Let me define some css here. So the css will be the text white, then busy, primary, hover, busy, primary by 90%. Sorry, it's 90%. Then px4, py2, and round it. Okay, and here actually everything is fine. And on the navbars, actually on the nav bar here we can just simply define some css. So the css will be absolute, then we'll have top full, then we'll have left 0, w full, busy, hero busy, then z index 20, and on medium devices will be hidden, something like this. So all the stuff is done right now. Let me check. If you click, then you can see this is the items. Okay, so it's actually not perfectly working, but right now it's okay. So what you have to do, actually you can define some css here on the list item. That would be py2, and I think right now it's okay. Let me check. Okay, so if you have this, next, is there any css missing? Okay, so let me check. It's okay. Let me inspect. But why there is a nav items? Okay, the list item is you will have to keep this list item inside this li, then it will perfectly work. So now you can see it's perfectly work. If you click any of this, then it's actually not closing. Why? So we'll have to import some functions to integrate it working perfectly. So here at the top we'll implement some functions. At first, after this scroll, nav toggle will define functions for the closing. When a nav item is clicked, we'll have to close that why is a ndle handle close menu, and that would be something like this. We can just simply define set is open false. And right now look, if you click any of this item, it's actually not rejecting, it's keeping here. So we'll define a function for the closing items, we'll copy it, and then here on the prevents, so you can simply include that here. So call it handle toggle. So handle close functions here. So why is actually not working? So if not working, you can use a parenthesis and then keep it there. So if you do this right now, let me check. If you click any of this item, it's actually not working, but if you click contact us, it's actually going. So when it's actually working, we'll have to use this functionality to the above actual list item. So here is all our list item, and on every list item, what you will do, you will include this on click. So let me define, this is the home. On the home, what you will do, you will define on click, and here we'll have events, then we'll have arrow, then we'll have parenthesis. What you will do, you can simply define event prevent default, event.prevent default, and here do not need to is set, sorry, not need to define set active. You can simply define this way. Okay, so you will call this handle close menu. So if you define this, now look, if I click home, then home is done. So we'll have to include this to everywhere, but before that, let me define another functions. So that would be const handle scroll function, and this function will be something like this. So let me define a arrow function, and this will actually work for the scroll. So every time we'll define const sections, and these sections will be a array, and here we'll define home first, then we'll have services, then we'll have about then we'll have pricing, then we'll have, is the pricing is correct? Okay, here is a missing. Then after, then actually we'll have testimonial. Okay, so I think this section is perfect. So let me check if I made any mistakes. So after this sections, actually we'll define a scroll position. This scroll position will be, sorry, window dot scroll y, and then we'll define a plus of 100, and after then we'll just define sections dot for each method, and for each method will receive every times a section will have parentheses. So inside this for each sections, what you will have, will define const element, and here we'll define document dot get element by id, and every time we'll have a section here. Then after these, actually what we'll do, we'll check if element, then we will define a logic. The logic will be, we'll define const offset top, and that would be element dot offset top. So this is the logic, and after then we'll have height. So const is height, that would be element dot offset height. Okay, something like this. And finally we'll define if is screen position sorry scroll position is greater than or equal offset top and brand screen position is less than offset top plus height. Then we will simply define set active section, and inside here we'll pass this sections. So this is the logic, and after this logic actually what we'll do, so let me close this, and here actually we'll define const we'll have a use effect hook. So let me close here right now. So use effect hook, and this will be have two things. We'll have a functions here, and then we'll have a dependency, and so inside this actually we can just define windows dot add event listener. Here we'll have a scroll, then we'll call handle scroll functions, these functions, and after this finally we'll have to return a functions from here. So that would be window dot remove event listener, and that would be handle remove, something like this. And finally we will have another function, so that would be const handle. Right now we actually not visualized, so scroll to, and here we'll have the target ID. It's a little bit complex because we will just define a great scroll feature, so that's why it's a little bit confusing, but not worry, just write what I am just doing. Target element, and that would be document get element by id by the target id, and finally we'll check if target element, then we can simply define window dot scroll to, and inside here we'll have parentheses, we'll define top will be target element dot offset top, and then actually we'll have behavior smooth. So this is all the stuff, and finally when you have this, simply you can just what you do, you can simply do another things, that is actually we need to define framer motions. So framer motion, okay, so let me go to the documentations, and then here get started, click this get started. We'll have to install it, so let me install, copy it, and yes, we are just defining the second terminal is for installation. Let me install this, and at the time of the install, how to import it, you will have to import this way, copy it and keep it at the top. Okay, so right now what you have to do, look, here we'll have a nav items, you can see this is nav items, and we'll define motion here. So we'll define motion dot, and then after these actually we can simply define while hover. What will happen? We will simply define a scale, and a scale will be 1.1, and then we'll have while tab, that would be a scale, that would be 0.9, something like this. And finally on the one click actually we will have event prevent handle close menu and handle scroll to, so that would be handle scroll to, and we will simply pass home. So something like this if you define this stuff. And right now let me create some components so that we can visualize it. So inside here we'll have a home component, so let me create home or hero sections. This is actually hero.jsx rfc, and let me define an id. So this is actually home, then let me create another, so that is actually second is actually for the services. So here we can create a component that's actually services.jsx rfce. We will add a id that is actually the same id services. We can let me copy it. So this is actually service id. Why we're just creating these? Actually I just want to show you what we are going to do. And now let me create another component, so that is actually about component dot jsx rfce, and that would be id about, and finally we'll import it one by one. So here is actually services component, then we will have but before that we'll have hero components. So hero components, and then about us components, about components. So if you do this right now here actually you can see we will have, let me refresh, you cannot see anything. Why? Actually if you click services nothing happens. Actually let me inspect body div home. Okay, it's actually not showing. What you can do, you can just define some class name and add an AC screen for now. And let me define for the hero actually, let me define busy will be rates 700. Okay, and for the service actually let me define some class name that will be AC screen, and that would be busy green colors, so that we can just see it. And for now here we can just define AC screen, that would be busy orange or something like this 700. So if we define it you can see actually, so this is actually banner, this is services, and this is actually abouts. And now we will implement the functionality. By default it's look, when you hover it's actually activating all of this stuff without adding these one click events. By default it's actually working. If you click any of this, look, service is there, about is selected, there is no pricing and testimonial. So let me add these two stuff. So pricing dot j6 rfce, same way class name is screen. Okay, and here let me add an id, so that would be pricing, and let me define another one, so that is actually for testimonial, testimonial dot j6 rfc, class name is print, is print, then id will be testimonial. Okay, so now if you see, when you click home is selected. If you click services, services is selected. If you add about is selected. If you click pricing, so pricing is not working. Why? We'll have to import it. So after it, actually, let me define pricing, and then we'll have testimonial. So now you can see it will work. Click pricing, pricing is selected. Click testimonial, testimonial is selected. And if everything is selected, you can see if you scroll, everything is fine, but the smooth scroll is not working, something like this. If you scroll, it will be scroll this way. So if this is not scrolling, how to fix it? So for this, actually, on the navbar here, we'll have these issues. We'll have to define on click, and we'll have to define this motions space. So let me cut and let me keep it at the top, so that we can just simply copy from this. We'll copy hovers and all this stuff. And for the second one, actually, uh here you can see we'll have services, and after the services we'll paste it here. And what we will customize, we will simply customize this here. Actually, on the handrail scroll to, will make these services. So let me define services. Okay, make sure the text is correct, and we'll do it for everywhere. So this is about, we'll have about, and I forget to define motion. So motion dot, and here is actually motion dot elements, and after then you will have motion dot, and here actually let me define, this is about, and here will be pricing, and for the last one, this is actually testimonial. So motion dot testimonial, and here we can just simply define, this is actually copy it, paste it here. So let me sure. So this is testimonial, this is pricing section, this is about, this is services, this is actually home. So if you have this, now let me refresh it. Click this home. If you click services, look the transition. So every transition is working perfectly. Okay, though the color is odd, so that's why it's actually not perfect, but you can see the transition is working, and the active color is applying. So if you have all of this stuff, so we can say our home bar, our nav items is working perfectly. And next, what if, let me check it on small devices. If you click services, look, it's going to render this services sections. And if you click testimonial, you can see this is actually testimonial sections. And if you click home, then home is loaded. Okay, so I think everything is working perfectly. Let me next design the homes, the hero sections actually. Okay, so let's design the hero sections, and for this hero sections, actually we'll go back to VS Code, and let me close everything. So we will simply close all, so everything is closed, and now we will open the hero sections. This is our hero, and from this hero sections, actually here, let me remove all this stuff. If we do that, then the next task is that we can apply a semantic tag, that is actually section tag, as hero is a section. So section tag, and inside here actually we'll have some class name. We'll define background color. Background color will be hero busy. Then we'll have text will be white by default. Then we'll apply flex. Then we'll apply item center. Then we'll add some padding, that would be 28 or something like this. Then on medium devices, we'll define is screen size. That means full screen size. Okay. Okay, if you do this simply here, we'll have another div, and let me define hero section to check it. Hero section. Okay, let's check it here. Now you can see this is hero sections, and it's actually applying the colors, something like the same colors. Now we'll have to define this text and the image. So inside this div actually we'll have content. Firstly, let me define left size, left side, and let me define another comments, right side. Right side, on the left side we will have a div. So inside this div actually we'll define class name. On medium devices width will be half, so w by 2, 1 by 2. And on the right side we'll also have a new div, and here we'll also define width half, and by default here we'll define age will be full, and then we can just define a text. So that is actually left side, and this is actually right side. Right side. Okay, let's check. Here you can see left side, right side. And for now actually we'll have to apply CSS on the parent div. So here on this div actually we'll define that would be container. So you will take a specific width for a specific device. Here we'll define mx auto, then we'll define by default flex, and on the way we'll define flex by default column. On the medium devices will be flex row, and then we'll have item center, justify between, then we'll have padding 8, overflow y means hidden, gap will be 12, and h will be full or something like this. Okay, so let's check it. Now you can see this is something like this, left and right side. Okay, so what we'll do, we can simply on the right side we need to define a image here. So let me define a image tag, img tag, and here we'll have to use a hero image. So let me import hero image, import hero img from, and look, our hero image is inside our asset folder. I will provide all the images, so don't worry. So at first let me define dot dot slash, then you can see assets, then let me write the image name. So where is the hero? So hero dot wep image, let me using copied. What you will do, you will just select this one, then edit rename, then let me select all by pressing Ctrl A, Ctrl C to copy, and now we'll have to paste it here after this slash. So the hero is there, and now we'll use this hero image using props actually. So hero img. So if you define this, let me see, the image is here and it's actually perfect. You can see perfectly taking here. What you can do here, you can just define alt tag, that is hero img or image, and you can just define some css that will be w will be full and object cover or something like this. So it's still the image is perfect, and now we'll design the uh, left side. So here some text, we'll have a text here and some description. So for this actually here on the left side, what we will do, we'll take a h1 tag. So h1 tag, we'll keep the text here, then we'll have a paragraph tag. You can use lorem text or simply copy any text, or let me paste the text here, and here what we will do, we'll have to define class name. Okay, let me define some styling here on the h1 tag. We'll define the class we'll define text will be for Excel, then we'll have to define font will be secondary font. So this is actually secondary font. Then we'll have font bold, margin bottom 4. On medium devices, W will be 3 by 5. Leading means line height, so that would be null. Okay, so let's check it. So this is the title, you can see, and this is the description. So we'll have to apply some CSS. Here for the paragraph, we'll define the text will be text LG, that means large text. Then we'll have margin bottom 12, and then on medium devices, padding will be PR8, padding right will be 8. And now let's check it. It's something like this. And after this, actually we need a button, so let's define a button. After this p tag, we'll have a button, and this button will simply define get started. But inside this button, let me define anchor tag, and we'll define that will be contact sections. And here that would be get started button. And for this, actually, so this is the button. Let me check. This button will have a anchor tag, so that's why we will take, instead of simple text, here we'll have a span tag. Let me keep it here, and then we'll have a icon. So from the icons here, we'll need something like this arrow or something. You can simply type arrow, then you can choose which type of arrow, this type of arrow inside a circle. So let me close this arrow, this type arrow. You can use any types of arrow. This on, or let me check something like sharp. Okay, we can use these icons. So let me import it at the top, copy the import sections, let me paste at the top. Then we'll have to copy this, let me paste it after this here. And on the anchor, we can simply define class name. We'll have flex, then we'll define gap 1 item center. So let me check it. Okay, and now we'll add some background. So that's why on the button we'll have class name, and simply define busy primary background, so that will be blue colors. And then we'll have text white. We'll have some padding, so py will be 3.5, pxe will be 8, font will be medium, then rounded md or something like this. On hover will be busy primary, that would be 90% or something like this. Let me check it. Here the button is something, when you hover, it's actually doing this type of stuff. So look, this is okay. So after these hero sections, we don't use the animation right now. This type of animation will implement later in the sections. And now we'll move to the service sections. So after these hero sections, we'll have to design this service section. So for this, actually, here is the service component, and let me remove everything. We'll be have clean something like this, and here we'll have a background color. So background color will be custom color, so that's why a square brackets, and here we'll define f7 f8 fc, something like this background color. And now you can see this is your service section. So here what we will do, we'll cut it, and then we'll take a new div. Inside this div, actually we'll apply some css, so that would be class name. We'll define padding top will be 28, and then px will be 4 container, and mx will be auto. After these, actually here we'll have another div, and inside this div we'll have a h2. This is, let me check the sections. Actually, this is the sections. Will have these toggle buttons here. You can see categorizations button. So let me copy this h2. We'll paste it. Let me add css here. We'll have text for excel. Then we will have font bold, then font secondary, and then finally we'll have text hero busy colors. Okay, and after then we'll have a paragraph tag. So let me format this for Control Shift F, or format documents. Here we'll have a paragraph tag. And for the paragraph tag, what you will have, you can simply copy this. It's actually raw text. You can just use your text. And for this paragraph, we can simply define on medium devices, that would be half of the width, and then we'll define mx auto. And to the parent div, here we'll define text will be center position, and we can just define space y5 or something like this. Okay, let me check it. So this is the text. Fine, I think you can understand. Okay, so after having this, we need to define this categorization. So for this, actually we will have a new div, and let me add a comments. So React category, so service category or something like this. And for this, actually we'll take a div. We can simply define some css. Let me define py will be 12, then we'll have a width on medium device. Width will be 4/5, that means 80% of width, and that would be mx auto. Okay, now here actually to implement this type of tab system, actually to type of categorization system, when you click parenting, then parenting skills. So when you click filling stack, stack related things will render here. If you click self defense, then self defense. So for this, actually we will go to React tabs. So you will have to search React tabs, and then you will go to this npm packages. We will use this npm packages. So let me copy it, and let me open the terminal, and then here on the second terminal we'll paste it. You can simply type it or just copy from the website. And when it's installed, let me close this. And how to use this? To use this, actually you will have to import it. So let me import this to css and stuff here, and then you can simply use this way. Simply keep these tabs inside this div actually. And let me format this code, Control Shift F. And now if you check here, you can see we'll have two items. Okay, if you want to change the tab list, here you will have to customize it. The tab will be first tab, and then let me change for the second one. You will have this. Now you can see the changes. You can see here couple counseling, parenting skills. Okay, and you need others stuff. So let me define. You can simply copy it, and let me change the text. Filling stuck, paste it here, and then feel confidence. You will have feel confidence here. So if you do this, then you can see first, when you click the first one, it's actually first, second one. But if you click third one, nothing is showing. Fourth one is nothing is showing. Why? Because you will have tab panel. You will have only two tab panel, but here you can see you have four tab. So you have to must create the four tab panel. So tab panel 4, let me define it. It is 3, it is 4. So if you now do this, now we can see when you click the last one, it's actually tab panel 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you have, then you can just able to customize it. So we need to define some styling. So here on this tab, actually on this tab list, actually what you can do, on the tab list, you can simply define some css. Sorry, it's not actually class name. Then you can simply take a string. Here we can simply define flex. Then flex will be orf. Then we will have justify between items center. On medium devices, gap will be 8, and by default gap will be 4. So if you do this, now we can see we will have something like this. Okay, if you will have this type of stuff, instead of this CSS, actually we can customize our CSS. How you can do this? Here you can see a git repository URL. You will click here, and then let me load these. Actually, when it's loaded here, you can see it's the git repository, and you can see a style folder. Inside this style folder, you can see there are several options. You can use it as CSS, you can use it on less, and you can use it on pure CSS. We will go to the pure CSS. We'll have to copy all of this stuff, and then we will remove this. Actually, we will just insert it on our app.css. Let me paste it here. Now it's will is still working perfectly. You can see it's still perfectly, but we'll need to customize it. Firstly, here let me do it one by one. At first, we'll target this list item. So that means it's actually is a tab list CSS. For this, actually we don't need this border color, so we'll need this, change this border color. The color will be 06A055, and then we don't need to define any changes here. Then we'll have react tab, so we'll have to change lots of stuff here. So at first, here we'll define a background color. So we'll define background, that would be white color. So this is white color. Then we don't need border, so we'll remove the border. We don't need border bottom, so we'll also remove that. Then we don't need bottom -x, we will remove all of this stuff. Then here list item is none, okay, but we will add the padding. So the padding will be 14 pixels, and that would be 24 pixels. Cursor will be okay. Then this is the selected tabs. Here actually we need the background border. Okay, we need to change the border color. Here actually the border color, or we can replace it with the border CSS properties. So border will be 1 pixel solid, and then we'll have a colors of the 06A055, and we'll make it important so that it will apply properly. Then additionally we'll have the border radius, that would be 5 pixels, and finally we'll have outline none. Okay, we don't need to define these. Actually you can remove that stuff. Then you can also remove the focused. We can remove this focused, and we can also remove this focus after, and then actually keep these two things. No need to change it. Our styling is done. Let's check it. Here you can see we'll have all of this stuff. Look, it's perfectly working. Now we'll have to show details about the selected tab. Okay, for these details, actually here let's back to the service, and you will have tab panel. You can see tab panel. This is for the first tab panel. So for this first tab panel, what you will do, simply look, this is the tab panel. Inside this tab panel we'll have a new div. We'll have a new div, and for the content, actually let me define a h3, and we'll make it the first thing. We'll simply copy it. Let me add some CSS here. Class name, the CSS will be, text will be 3xl. We'll have font semi bold. Then we'll have text primary color, and finally margin bottom 4. And then we'll have a little paragraph. So for this paragraph, actually let me copy the paragraph. It's actually lorem text. You can just use your own text. We'll add paragraph, so that would be MB8, and after then we'll have a h4 tag, and that would be benefits. So let me copy benefits, and then we'll have some list item. So that's why eval tag. Inside this eval tag we'll have li tag, and let me copy this. We can copy it for 3 times, and let me class name. We will define, that would be list text. Then we'll have list inside, and finally we'll have a space y3. So if you do this, let me check it. So this is the things here on the div. Actually here on the div we can simply define class name. The class name will be, so here actually what we can do, we can simply add mdw 1 by 2. Then we can add some background, so that will be busy white. We'll define rounded lg, and then we will have padding 12, and finally we'll have front secondary. So that is the steps what we need to do. And right now, what if you check here, you can see this is the thing. And after then here actually we'll have to add a image. So that's why we can just take a image, and inside this image we will have image tag, and let me import images. So at first import service image 1 or something like this, what we can just define service img 1, and then we'll have from, let me define dot slash assets slash, then here if you check the assets we'll have service image on, service image 2, 3 and 4. So let me select one and let me rename, select wall by pressing Ctrl A, and let me paste it, and we will make some copy. So this is second on, this is third on, this is fourth one, and here we'll also have to edit to 2, 4 and the third one. So if you do this now, here on this image actually we can render the service image 1, and we can add some css. So here we can simply add css, w will be full, h will be by default auto, and then we have rounded to excel or something like this, then object will be cover. So let me check. If you do this, here we're getting an issues. Why? We will have an issues here. So let me check what is the issues. The issues is says import from slash asset slash service image or something like this. So what the issues actually, here we will have service image. Let me define again dot slash assets slash service images 1, and let me remove this so that we can just understand where is the issues. Okay, the image is here. So what you have to do, let me copy it for 4 times here. That would be sub service image 2, 3, 4. Okay, now here we'll have to change it. So let me copy it. Here we will have second on, so this is actually second on, and then we will have fourth third on, copy it, paste it here, and finally we will have fourth on. Here we will have to edit it. Okay, if you have done this, now you can see there is no errors actually. Okay, so after this actually simply what you can do, we can just call this tab panel here. So for the tab panel, you can see this is the tab panel. We can simply add some css, that means class name, and here actually we will have by default flex, then we will have flex column, then we will have on medium devices, flex will be row, gap of 8, and margin top will be 8, something like this. So let's check it. So it's actually showing perfectly, but here we need to add a width of this div. So for the image actually we will have to define class name on medium devices, that would be w of 1 by 2. Then I think it's now okay. So this is okay, you can see everything is fine right now. For the counseling, it's actually showing this way, and here we can have a little text. We'll have w4, and here on the h4 we can simply define class name, text excel size, then we will have font medium, then text black, and finally MB4 or something like this. Okay, so the benefits, this section is okay, and this time we can simply copy these tab items. We can remove all of these tab items and we can just make it copy. So if you do this copy, then if you click, you can see this is actually showing. And for the second one, actually let me do a little change. We'll have a2 and we'll add a specific height actually for the image, and that would be on medium devices with will be, sorry, height will be 446 pixel. And let me check it. Yeah, but why this is actually gap? So for this gap actually, let me give a little bit idea why the gap is there. We'll have to check it. So this is the first tab panel here. This is the first tab panel, and then we'll have the CSS here. This CSS is also okay. Okay, actually what we can do to fix that issues here, let me cut this div. Actually let me cut this div, and here at the top actually we will take a div, and inside this div we will paste all the content, and we will cut this div and make it here. So the class name will be this type of thing. Inside this tab panel we will have a div. Inside this div we will have two divs. Actually this is for content and this is for image. Okay, now let me remove this tab items, and actually we'll copy the tab again. So let me copy again. So I think this will be fixed right now. Look, this is actually not adding extra space. Okay, let me change it. So for the second one here, the service image will be 2, and now let me add the text. The text will be parenting skills. So here you can see parenting skills. So we'll copy the tab panel, then copy it again by pressing Ctrl Alt down arrow, and this is for the third one. So let me copy the third one. This is filling stuck, and the image will be third image. And finally we will close it and copy it again by pressing shift alt and down arrow. So this is the fourth one. Here we will have self defense. We can have self defense here. Actually we have to do copy paste, and then that would be 4 image. Okay, so if you do this actually, and then look, we will have 4 tab items, 4 tabs items. Let me add some space so that you can understand. Here we'll have 4 tab items, and here 4 tab panel, and all the tab panel contains the following things. We will have a div. Inside this div we will have 2 divs actually. One is for content and one is for image. Okay, so now let's see. Here you can see we will have created, and for the first time it's showing a couple counseling. If you click second one, then you can see it's parent counseling, and the image has changed. Here the third one, um feeling is stuck, and the image is changed. This is actually changing. Everything is perfectly working. You can see how great this stuff is. Okay, so next actually we'll have to move to the about section. So for making the about sections, let me close all of these unnecessary stuff, and now here we'll have to open this about.jsx. And for here actually, let me remove this CSS. Actually here we'll add a background color, so that would be busy, and we'll apply custom background color. So that is actually um f7, f8 and fc, something like this. And then we will add some padding bottom, so that would be 16 pixels. Padding top, that would be 20, and by default it's okay for right now. And if you check here, you can see this is your about section. So next task is, we don't need this. We will have to take a new div, and here we'll have to define CSS. So that is actually container and mx auto. Okay, so then here actually, if you check the about sections, our about section is something like this. You can see on the left hand you will have a image and a play button, and on right hand we will have some text and get started button. Okay, so and the another interesting thing is that if you click this button, actually it will open a video by default, and here is a close button. You can see you can render any YouTube video or other stuff. So that is the thing you will have to do. And so let's make that stuff. So here in this div we will have to take another div, and this here will have left side, and that is a simple div. And let me define, this is left side div, and after then here right side, and we will make another div, so that is actually right side. Okay, so if you check here, actually left side, right side, and now we will catch the parent div, and here we will apply some padding. So py will be 12, px will be 4. Then on medium devices will define w will be 4 by 5, that means 80%. And then we'll define mx auto, and finally we will have flex by default column, and on medium devices flex will be row, then item center, and gap will be 8 or something like this. So if you do this, then you can see we will have this stuff. Now what we can do, we can simply make the div with a half of the width. So here on this div, actually we will have on medium devices width will be half, and by default w will be full. And also we'll apply the same classes. So let me copy it, paste it here. So if you do this right now, you can see this is left side, this is right side. On the left side we will have something like this. So let's do that. On the left side here we will have some stuff here. So let me define, we can just simply apply margin button, so that would be 8. And on the medium devices mb will be 0 or something like this. And inside these, actually look, inside this we will have to render based on the a use state hook. So that's why at the top we will have to define a use state hook. So let me define const. Here we will call use straight, and then we will define by default it's actually false value. And here we'll define is video playing, and then set is video playing. So that is by default use state false. And after then we define const handle video play, and that would be by default it is a arrow functions, and it will be make this is set video true. Okay, so something like this. And finally we'll have a close button. So that's why handle video, handle close video, actually close video, that would be a arrow functions. And inside this arrow functions we can simply make is set is video false. Okay, so that is the thing what you need. Then next, so here is actually this div, left div, and inside here we'll have a parenthesis, and we'll check not is video playing, then we will have something like this, otherwise we'll have another stuff. So let me define this way. So here if this condition is false, then it will show something. Otherwise here actually in this div, what we can do, we can simply take a new div, and inside this div we will have a img, and this will be a image thumbnail. So let me import an image thumbnail. So import thumbnail image, thumbnail img from where, actually from the assets folder. So dot slash assets slash, then let me get the image. The image will be, if you check the assets here, we'll have video thumbnail. So this is the image. We will copy the name, and then we'll paste it at the top, and we will render it here actually. thumbnail image, and by default here is showing an error. So let me define a default div for now, so that we can ignore the error, and here we'll define video thumbnail, something like this. Okay, and for this image actually what you will do, you will define some classes. So let me define class name. We will apply w full on medium devices, height will be 446 pixel. Then we will have age by default auto. Then we will have rounded lg, and object cover. So that is the thing. Let me check it. If you check here, you can see the image is here, and after this image actually we need to define this button, actually this button. So for this button actually, after this image tag we will have a button, and this button is a play button. So for this play button we will have to get a svg or something like this. You can use any play button, something like this play button. You can just check icons, so something like this. Let me check play. You can choose what type of, okay, this type of stuff. You can choose any play icons or something like this. I cannot find exactly the same thing, but you can choose a specific one. So let me choose anything here, maybe this type of stuff for now. We'll simply copy it, make it input at the top. Then we will have to copy it, we'll keep it inside this uh, button. And now here we'll have to define a size for this button. So let me define class name. Size will be size 12 or something, and then text will be by default white. So let me check here the button. Where is the button? The button is not showing. And let me define some class name here. What you will do, will make this absolute position. So if you want to make absolute positions here, you will have to define target this div. So let me target this div. We'll define that will be relative, and now we can just define that would be absolute. So absolute, then we'll have top will be on by 2, then left will be on by 2, and then we'll have transform, then we'll have minus translate x slash on by 2, then minus translate y, so that would be y 1 by 2, something like this. After then we'll have busy primary, we'll have padding 3, then we'll have rounded full, then shadow lg. Let me shadow lg. Finally we'll have cursor pointer. Okay, all this stuff is now. Let me check. So by default you can see this is the icons. So, and on this actually we'll have to define a on click event listener. So that would be on click, sorry, it's actually on click, and this on click will be handle video play. So that would be handle video play. Okay, so after this actually, here actually instead of div we can simply render null. So something like this, null. Okay, I think everything is fine. If you click something like this, it's gone. So actually instead of this, here we'll render actually a image, actually a video. So for this, what you can do, instead of these actually, instead uh, outside of the div, instead, so this is right side div, and instead of this div actually, here we can just apply it conditionally. So by default what you can do, you can simply define a div. So let me define actually we will have parenthesis, and then here we'll check if is video playing, then we'll have and operators. Then inside here actually we'll have a new div, and then inside this div we will have to render our video. So for this actually we'll go to YouTube, and maybe let me go to YouTube and let me choose any video from my channels, or you can choose any video from others. Here
Hello.
I am opening the latest video. Let me pause it so that you can just understand it. Here you can see a share options, and if you click this embedded, sorry, let me click embedded. Why it's actually not showing? So maybe it's copied. Let me paste it. It's actually not embedding. If this embedded option is work properly, then it will be a great deal. So if not, actually, let me check loss. So we'll simply define this code, paste here. You can see we'll just define a video player here, and this is all of this stuff. You can see now
Hello
it's
and
actually
welcome.
there.
And
So by default, when the button is clicked, it's actually there, and after then we'll have a button, and this button will be inside this button we'll have ampersand, we'll have times, and here we'll define on click, and that would be handle video close. So handle close video, and finally we'll have some class name. So let me define class name. The class name will be absolute, then top will be 4, then we will have right 4, then text white, finally we'll have text to Excel, and that is actually cursor pointer, something like this. Okay, and here on this parent div, what we will do, you will have to define class name, then we will make it relative, then we will have w full, is full, then we'll have flex, item center, and justify will be center. We'll have z index 50, and after then let me check here. Actually, if you click, you can see it's actually
hello.
showing here on the middle position. Okay, next thing is that actually we can cart this div and keep it inside another div. So here actually we'll have to apply some background effects. So that's why here on this div we'll have to define a position that would be fixed position, then inside will be 0, then we will have to define busy black, then we'll have busy opacity, that would be maybe 75%, and after then it will be flex, items center, justify center, and maybe z index 50. Okay, here instead of these actually we can remove this z index 50, so we can just have this stuff. So right now you
Hello
can see
and welcome.
this is the effect, and here is a times. You can simply click it and it will go on, and instead of times actually you can just make cross or something like this. So let me define cross, and then you can see if you click, actually here you can see a cross icons. If you click here it will gone. Okay, so I hope you understand how it will work. If the play button is clicked, the video will be showing here. You can see the video is showing here, and then you can just simply close it. Instead of this video you can change this URL. I will provide this video player, so don't be worry about this. I will provide this iframe code so that you can just use it properly. And finally, so this is done, and now here we will go to the above div, and here we'll have to design the right sections. This right sections is the same as these sections. You can see we will have the simple thing that is actually used here. Okay, we can copy that section from the hero section, so we'll go to hero, and now for the left actually there is something like this. We will have all of this stuff. You can simply copy it, and now on these actually you can simply paste it. Instead of h2 we can just define h1, actually we can just define h2. So let me check it. You can see there is an error because the icons is not copied. So let me import the icon, import, and let me import it at the top. So if you do this, now you can see this is perfectly working. We need to define the text. So for this text, actually this is individual contact. So let me define. Here we'll have to change the text, and everything is fine. I think everything is fine. So you can see this is actually individual. We can just make it capitalized. So here on this, that is capitalized. So now it will be capitals, and we can remove width. So from this, actually we can remove the width, then it will be fixed. You can see that is perfect, and everything is fine for now, I hope. So if you have these sections, you can see this is the perfect sections. And by default, when you click home, if you click service, then service will open. If you click any of these items, it's working. And finally, if you click about us, then about section is showing perfectly. If you click the play button, the video will open here. The video will open here, and if you click this cross icon, then it will be closed. Okay, that is perfectly doing. And next section is that we'll have to make this how it's worked. So this is actually working process, and for this, actually, if you check, let me close all of this stuff, and if you check about.jsx, here actually there is no working process. So after this about, actually we need to make a component and render it here. So working step or something like this .jsx rafce, and we will import it here actually after the about. So working steps, and now here we will design the working step in the next video. So let's design this working step. Here you can see a div, and if you check the working step, we will have this text and then this from something like this. Okay, so for this, at first we'll have to define class name. We'll make it relative, and then we'll have busy cover, and then here actually we'll have to define busy center position, and finally we'll have a image. But before that, let me define some padding. So that would be py12. And now actually if you check here, then this is your working step. Actually here there is a image, but the image is not showing. Why? We'll have to show the image. So you can use a image by this way. If you want to customize the tailwind.config.js file here, so where is tailwind.config.js file, you can extend a image here. So let me extend background image. So for this, actually after this we'll have background colors, background image stuff, something like this, and let me add a comma. Inside this background image we'll have to define a name, so that is working img, and then here we can simply define the URL. So URL will be, then we will have something like this caret sign. Inside these, actually what you have src. Inside this src of, actually maybe dot slash src slash, maybe it's actually dot slash assets slash working process. Let me check the image. So this is actually working process. This image, will copy this name and keep it here, something like this. And now we'll use this image here, so that will be bg. So working step image, something like this, working step image. So let me check if the image is showing. So the image is not showing. How to fix it? So if not showing, maybe we can just define that would be src slash asset slash. Okay, let me check. Instead of this, we can just use single quotations, and maybe src slash assets slash working process. Let me check. Okay, the image is not showing. Now showing, actually after doing this, you can see this is actually perfectly showing. Or you can do a little step. You can just keep this image, so when we deploy it, actually it's gone. So what you can do, you can just keep this image to the public folder so that it will be rendered properly. So let me copy it and we'll paste it on public folder. So paste it on public folder so that it will render from the public folder. And now if you check it, the image is not showing. Okay, still the image is there. So if the image is there, what you have to do, let me close this stuff, and after this text actually what we will do, so for this actually simply take a new div, we can just define some css. Here we will apply class name, will have absolute position, then we will have insert 0, then we will have background color, so that would be busy, background color will be hero busy, then we'll have busy opacity, maybe 90% opacity, and then we'll have okay. So let me check it. So right now you will have this stuff. If you want to reduce opacity, maybe you can just define 85%. Now it's much better opacity. And after this div actually what you will have, you will have another div, and this is actually title and description. So let me define a title and description. So inside this div we'll have a h2, and let me collect the title, how it's working, and let me define the class name. So that would be h2 will be text for excel, then we will have we'll have font bold, then font secondary, and finally we will have margin bottom for. Okay, let me check the text. So this is the text. We'll have to apply some color, so let me define the color will be text white, something like this. And here we can just define text will be center position, and by default we'll add some margin bottom 20. So now I think it's on the center positions, but the image opacity is not working. What the issues actually? Okay, so if it's not working, here we can just define a class name. We'll define that would be relative, we can just define container mx auto, then we will have actually px4 py20, and now it's perfectly working. You can see this is perfectly working. And after this actually we'll have a text. So let me take lorem text, so that would be 20, and now you can see the lorem 20. We can apply some css to this. So the css will have text lg size, then we will have on medium devices width will be half of the width, then we will have by default w full, and mx will be auto. So now you can see this is the text, and after this text we need this cart option. So let's make this cart option. So let me close this div. After this div, here we'll have steps, so that's why let me take a div, and then inside this div actually we'll have another div, and this div will have actually let me define class name. We'll define relative, then we'll define busy will be white, then we'll have our text center rounded lg, and finally we'll have padding 6, and that would be flex 1. Okay, and if you do this, let me define the parent div. We'll apply some css. Here we'll have flex. By default flex will be column. By default on medium devices width will be 4/5, that means 80%, mx auto, and finally we'll define on flex on medium device, that would be row, and gap will be 8 or something. So let me check it. Here you can see a div. Inside this text actually, inside here actually we will have two things. We'll have a div with number 1. You can see this is number 1, and after these actually we'll have a h3. We can just define that is actually fill the form. Let me copy this text, actually fill the form. Then we'll have some paragraph, so we will simply define the paragraph will be a step on lorem text. You can use lorem text. And now here let me design on the h3. Actually we will have text large, then we will have font medium, then we'll have margin of 8. Okay, and for this paragraph we'll have simply my, that would be 2. And here if you check, you can see this is something like this. And now we'll have to make this number something like this. So for this actually we'll target the div. Let me define class name. We'll define that would be absolute position, then will be top will be 0, then we'll have left will be 1 by 2, then transform will have minus translate, x will be 1 by 2, then minus translate, y will be, so that would be y will be 1 by 2, and finally we'll have busy primary color, we'll have text will be white color, then the size will be 14, and finally we'll have rounded full flex item center, and justify will be center. So justify center, let me add justify center. So if you do this, let me format the code, and finally here you can see this is at the top. And now we'll make some copy of it, so 3 times. This will be second step, this will be third step, and now you can see all this form is created. And now let me define edit the text, so that would be for the second step it will be get matched, and this is actually a step 2, and this is actually schedule. So let me define a schedule, and this is actually step 3. And now finally our card section is perfectly done, and you can see the background color is there. And if you inspect, so let me check it. So on the larger devices it will show something like this. If you reduce its doing, you can see it's now single step, and it's perfectly working way. Okay, you can just define it 100% width. Now you can see how beautiful this section is, how it's work section. Okay, so I am impressed. I hope you just working with this. So next section is which sections. It's actually the pricing sections. We'll have to make this type of pricing, and let's do this. So for this pricing section, so let me close it. Here you can see we'll have pricing component created. So let me open pricing sections, and here we'll have to apply all our styling and design sections. Okay, so for the pricing actually, at first here we'll have a background colors. So let me remove a background colors. This background color is custom color that is used everywhere. So f7, f8, fc, and we will add some padding top, so that would be 32. And now let's check. Here this is actually pricing. After these sections actually you will have a new div. We will have to define class name, container, then mx auto, then we'll have px will be 8 or something like this. And inside here actually we'll have additional div, we'll have a h2, and we make it actually the text. So the text is, let me copy it, perfect for a small and large brand. And let me define a paragraph. We'll have lorem maybe 50. So let me define lorem 50 text, and now you can see the text is here. Okay, we'll design this section, so we'll target this div, and then actually we'll have to define text center. Then we'll define margin bottom will be 12. And here for the h2, that would be text for Excel. We'll have font bold, font secondary. Finally, we will have margin bottom 3. Okay. And for the paragraph, actually, let me define class name, and we'll define text will be LG. Then we will have margin bottom 2F. We'll add some width, the medium devices, so 2 by 3, something like this. Then we'll have MX auto. So if you check right now, this is big, too much text. We can just remove some text from here. So let me remove all of this text. Okay, now fine. Next step is that you will have to make this package sections. So for this package sections, actually, after this div, so let me close this div. After this div, so packages, and here we'll have a div. Let me define class name. Here the class name will be flex. Flex will be column. Then we'll have on medium devices, width will be 5 by 6. That means 80, maybe 83%. Then MX auto, and by default on the medium devices, flex will be row, and gap will be 8. Okay, that is the thing. And inside this div we'll have a div, but we need to define some data. Actually, we'll create some data. I will provide this data on the package, on the public folder. So you will just check the public folder and you will get the data. And this data is actually, let me define a variable. So that would be packages, and it will be, we will copy the data and paste it here. So it's actually a area of objects. You can see this is the package name, this is the price, this is the descriptions, and this is the features, and we'll render this package here. So let's do that. So for this, actually we don't need this div. We'll have parentheses, we'll call the packages, and then we'll do a map operation. We will have two things. We'll have pkg, that means package, and we'll have index number, and then we'll have a array. Inside here we can simply take a new div, and let me define the key value. Key will be this index number, and after this, actually here inside this div we'll have h3. We will show the package name, so that would be pkg, that would be package dot name. Then we'll have a paragraph, we'll have a s r, so that would be a line. After then we'll have a p tag. So we'll show, let me show pkg dot price, and let me check if the data is showing. Here you can see bronze package, this is price. The design is very low, but it's okay right now. On the span tag, actually we will have to define slash, that means month, and let me define some css to the span tag. So the css will be text lg, and font will be normal. Okay, and let's style on this h3. So this h3 will be text to Excel. Then we will have font semi bold. Sorry, actually that would be semi bold, and then finally we'll have margin bottom 4. And on the hr, that means horizontal line, here we'll define, that would be w will be 24. We'll have border, then border will be text primary, and border will be primary color. Okay, so if you do this, then you can see this is the border, and after then here on this p tag we'll have simply defined class name, we'll have text 3xl, then we will have font bold, then we will have actually margin bottom for, okay, let me check it. Perfect. And if you target this div, actually we can have to apply some css. The class name will be mm, busy white, then we will have rounded lg, then we will have p of 6, then flex 1, and shadow will be lg, something like this. Now I think you can see this is the packages. And after doing this, let me, after this paragraph, what you will have a paragraph for the description. So let me pkj dot description will have class name. The class name will be text lg, and then maybe margin bottom 4. Okay, so let's check it. And here after this paragraph text we'll have a eval tag. Inside this eval tag we'll have to render the pkg dot features. So here you can see we'll have a arrays of things, so that's why we'll call this actually features dot map. And here every time we'll get feature and in index idx in short of index, let me define arrow, will have parenthesis, every time we'll take a li tag, and we can simply show the list item, so that is actually feature. Okay, and here we'll apply key, so key will be idx, and then we'll have class name. The class name will be, okay, actually we don't need any css here. We can simply target css on the eval tag. What css will use, will define, that would be list describe, then we will have list inside, and then we will have a space y2, that is actually y2, and finally we'll apply some margin bottom, so mb6. So let me check it here, so you can see all the features is showing. And after doing this, actually where is the text center? Here actually we can just define, let me define here margin bottom will be 12 or something. Okay, so now let me check, maybe we can add pb 12. Okay, mask gap is now okay. So after then finally we'll have to define the button. So for this button, actually after this eval tag we'll have a button. So let me define the button. The button will be get started button, and here we'll have class name, and then we'll have busy primary, text will be white, then we'll have px4, then py will be 2, that would be rounded, something like this. So let me check it. Here is the button, and now this button will have to call a scroll to the position. So here you can simply define on click, and this on click will be handle scroll to contact section. And let me define this function at the top. So here inside this pricing we'll have a function, so this will be a arrow functions, something like this. And here on this arrow functions, we can just define const target element. So that would be document dot get element by id, and here that would be contact. And after then we'll define if targeted elements, then we will define window dot scroll to, and then we'll have parentheses. We'll define top. Top will be target element dot offset top, and then we'll have behavior that would be smooth. So that is the thing. If anyone click this get started button, it will redirect to the contact page. So right now is their contact page created? So maybe contact is applying, so there is no contact page, but we'll create that, no worries. So after these sections, actually we'll have the review sections. However, client says it's actually under the testimonial sections. We'll design these sections. Okay, now for the testimonial sections. So here's this is the testimonial sections. Okay, we'll design these sections. So for this, actually let me remove this screen. We'll have the background colors, so that is actually the same background color is defined everywhere. So f7, f8, fc, this is the colors. And after these, actually we will apply some padding, so that would be p12. And if you check right now, here you can see testimonial sections, the color is not applying. So let me define the color is changed. So f7, f8, fc, something like this. Now we can see this is testimonial sections, and that's thing is the same at first, the same thing. If you open the any of this, maybe pricing sections, look here, we'll have the same div, we'll have this same div. So this is actually inside this, actually we'll have a new div, and then we'll define that would be class name container mx auto. And after this, actually we will have to copy this. Actually here it's simple, a title, a paragraph, and other stuff. So we can simply copy these sections and paste it inside here. This is very simple, and now we need to change it. So for this, actually whatever client says, we'll simply change this text. Then if you need to define paragraphs, so let me copy the text and paste it here. Okay, so let me format this code. So if you do this, now the section is done perfectly. You can see how our is saying something like this. And then the next thing is that maybe we can just define half of the width, then maybe it will be mass perfect. Okay, this is mass perfect. And then we need these two type of cards. So let me close this, and after this, actually we'll take another div, and here actually we need to render some data. So that's why here, if you just check your public folder of the starter file, then you will find something like this. You can simply copy this and at the top keep it here. So inside here we'll call the testimonials. So testimonials will define map operations. Inside this, every time we'll get testimonial and index. Then we will have arrow parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis we will have a div. So let me take a div, let me define key. So the key will be index number, and after then inside this div we will have another div. So inside this div we'll have a icons. So what type of icons? Look, we need this type of icons. This is actually quote icons. So how to search it? Here simply we'll define chat code, COU, or something like this, CUO, which type of thing code is needed. Maybe let me open field, so we can just use these. Okay, so let me input it at the top. At the top, then we will have to use these code icons. Simply copy it, paste it here, simplifying it. Okay, so here on this code we'll have class name, we'll have size will be 12, then we'll have text primary. Okay, that is primary. And on this div actually we will have class name. We can just define absolute, then we'll have top 0, left 0, then transform minus translate, that would be x1 by 2, minus translate, that would be y, and actually that is y, and that would be on by 2. Okay, something like this. Then okay, it's fine. Now check it. This is not showing. Why? Let me inspect. Is there any issues? So review on is not defined. uh Hi, uncaught reference errors. So let me define. Okay, there is two image with the image is not there. So here actually we need to define the image on import review on image, and we'll import the image from dotted slash assets slash, and then here actually we'll have reviewer image. So this is review on image. Let me copy it, keep it here, and we'll copy it too. So that is actually reviewer 2, and here that would be 2. So I think the image is now okay. And the assets, let me close the assets. Now the issues may be gone. Okay. It's actually showing nothing. It's showing nothing. Why? Because we'll have to apply some CSS to these positions. We'll have to define relative. Now if I relative, you can see this is the icons, and after applying this relative, what you will have to do, you can just define busy white, then we will have rounded LG, then padding will be 6, that would be flex 1. Okay, fine. So let me check it. Now we can see we'll have two icons, and after this div, what you will have, you will have to define another div, and inside this div we'll have a p tag. We'll define the testimonial review. So testimonial dot review. So let me check it. Where is this? Is the review sections, and we can target this div. We can just define that would be flex. By default flex flex will be column, and on medium devices width will be 4 by 5. Then mx will be auto. On medium devices that would be flex row. On medium devices gap will be 12, and by default gap will be 8. Okay, so I think now it's okay. You can see these two sections. Now we'll have to show these icons and the image. So for this icon as the image, let me define the paragraph. Will have something like this. We'll have text lg, then margin button 2. And after this paragraph actually we'll have a div, and then we'll have img tag, and that would be dynamic image. So the image will be testimonials dot image, and this is reviewer image. Okay, and we can just define the class will be size 16, then we'll have rounded full, and object cover, then we'll have mr4, something like this. So let me check it. The image is there, and after this image we'll have another div, and this div will be a paragraph. So we'll want to show the testimonial name, testimonial dot name, and then we'll have a paragraph. So that would be testimonial dot location. And let me define css. Here the css will be font semi bold, and then here we'll define class name text gray 600 or something like this. And on the div actually we'll have class name, we'll have flex, and gap will be 1. So let me check it. Here you can see the absolute thing is there. And finally on this div actually we can simply define class name. We'll have flex. By default flex will be column, then we will have a space y3, and finally we'll have margin bottom 4, so mb4. Let me check it. Perfect, this is perfectly showing, and this is done for the testimonial sections. I think you understand how it will work. So now the next section, that is actually we'll have to make this appointment section, and this is about a part of the contact us section. So here let me close all of this stuff, and now you can see we don't have any contact information, so that's why let me create a components. Close assets. Inside this src we'll have components, and we'll create a components for contacts. So contact.jsx rafce, and this will be a contact sections. So here we will have to define a class name. The class name will be busy hero background, then we will have by default flex, then flex by default column, or actually you don't need to define this. We will have item center, justify center, then we will have the padding. So py will be 28, then px will be 8, and here we'll have to define an id. So id will be simply contact. Okay, so let me check it. Here we'll have to import the components on here. After this testimonial, let me import contact components, and now you can see this is your contact components. And by default, look, if I click contacts, it's actually loading this contact section, and if you click here, it's actually working perfectly. And when you click the contact sections, let me go home, click contact, it's actually doing not properly. So for this actually we'll have to make send scroll to here. We'll have to on the navbar. So where is the div contact sections? Okay, this is contact sections. Here we'll have to define handle scroll contact, scroll to contact. Okay, so now I think this will work. Home, click contact. Or actually this is the bottom sections contact, and here actually the there is another contact. So let me define, this is button on click. Here's we will have, let me check, we'll have event something like this event, then we'll have event prevent default scroll. Okay, so let me click. Okay, the scrolling is working right now. If you go to these sections, click here, so this is actually working. And if you click testimonial is not working. So here maybe we forget to add the ID on the testimonial sections, so maybe this is not the proper ID. Let me check. So for the testimonials actually, let me check the ID, especially here. Now I think why this is not working, why this ID is not scrolling. Let me check. This is fine. Let me check here, and finally the ID will be testimonial. So everything is fine, but why it's actually not showing? Let me check. Click here, click testimonials. Okay, testimonials is loading. We can add some space on the testimonial sections. So maybe here we can add some space, that would be pb maybe 20. Okay, so click here, so testimonial is there. Now home, click testimonials, click prices, testimonials. Okay, contacts, by default contacts is showing. Click here, contact is loading. And now we design this contact section. So for this contact section, let me remove everything. And here what you will do, we'll have a div. This will be container div. So let me define class name container, then mx will be auto, and then look here actually we will have two sections. We will have text and this section. So for this actually what you will have, so inside this container we'll have another div, and this div will be classes something like this. We'll define a width, so that would be 4 by 5, that means 80% mx auto. Then we will apply grid. By default grid calls 1 on medium devices, grid calls will be 2. Okay, and then we'll define items center, and on medium devices gap will be 12, and by default gap will be 8. Okay, so inside here actually we'll have two div. So this is actually left side div. So let me define div on, and here we'll define some space, so that would be a space y8. Then inside here we'll have a h2. This h2 will be make an appointment. So let me copy the text, make an appointment. We can just define class name, that would be text for excel, then font bold, then font secondary, mb4, text will be white. Okay, so let me check it. So this is make appointment. After this we will have this div. So after this h2 actually we will have a div. Inside this div we will have another div, and this div will have another div, and then we need a icon, so that would be fa icons. So if you search here, you can simply search the icons user icon, and we will use this use a icon something like this icon. So let me check it. fa user icon, fa user something like user alt icon. We can use that icon. You can use any of the icons. Let me copy it. Let me import at the top. Then here's users alt icon. We will keep it here. Here we'll define class name. Then the class name will be flex items center, justify center, then rounded full, background color. So background color will be, so that is actually busy. Here background color will be hash fff uh on a something like this. Okay, this type of colors, I think it's okay. Let me check. Okay, or after then we'll add some padding, so p3. And here on the world you can simply define class name text primary. Okay, let me check. Here is the icons. And then actually what you will do after this div, we'll have another div, and then we'll have h3. That is actually, let me copy the text. There is this text, then we will have a paragraph. So let me define the text here. Let me as styling, so h3 will be text lg, then will be font medium, and it's okay. And we can simply target a space x2 or 1, so that would be a space y actually. So let me check it how it's looking. Here is the text something, we can simply define that would be text white, or you can just define by default, we can just target this div. Let me define class name here, that would be flex items start gap 4. Let me check it something like this. We will have to make the text white, so here let me define, we can just target this here. Actually we can just simply define text will be white or something like this. So if you define this, you can see this is the one div, and we can make some copy of it. But before that, here this is the vault icon, this is flex, and here on this div actually you can simply define a div, so that is actually class name. And here we can apply, that is actually grid, and then we'll have grid calls by default 1 on the medium devices, grid calls 2, and gap will be 8, text will be white. Okay, so perfect. I think we can just remove this text white at the top. Okay, I hope it will work perfectly. Okay, so what you have to do here, you can see this is a div. Let me close it. We can make some copy of it on to free. Okay, so you can see all of this text, you will have to need to change the text. So where is the second one? Let me close first one. This is the second one, and here the icon will be fa, envelope icons, something like envelope icons. And I think you can see the icon is changed. The third icon is call icons. So let me close this div. Then we'll have phone vault icon, and that would be high quality care. So that is actually here. Let me check. The icon is fine, and last icon is web icon, something like this. So open this div, and here instead of if a user world will have globe, so zl of icons, and the text will be simply trusted clinic. So now finally we make this left side. So if you are able to make the left side, you will have the right side. So let's do this. So here you can see this is left side. We'll close this div, and now we'll take another div. So this is actually right side. Right side. Okay. So here on the right side, this is actually from, let me define some css here. So that would be a space y8. So that would be a space y8. Then we'll have p8. Then busy will be white. Shadow excel. Rounded md. So this is a specific width, so you can see something like this. Then inside here actually we'll have a h2 or h3 is okay. We'll define book and book appointment. Here's, let me add css. So that would be text to excel font bold mb4, something like this. And after these actually we'll have a from. We don't need any actions here. So inside this from we can apply some color, a css here. So that would be a space y8, and inside here actually we will have a div. So this div contains two input field. So let me define input field, and this input field will be text type, and placeholder will be name. Then here's we will have some css. So that's why class name will be wfull. Then let me define, after wfull we'll have p of 4, then rounded md. Then we will have focus outline none, focus ring 2, focus ring color. So that would be ring color primary. Okay. And shadow. So if you check it, you can see this is name field, and we can make this a copy of it. So let me define a copy of it. So that would be name. Let me check. After the name we'll have email field. So type will be email, and this is will be email address. Let me check it. You can see this is email address, and here on this div actually we will have to define flex on sm device will be flex row. By default flex will be column, and finally gap will be 4. Let me check it. You can see this is perfectly done. After having this, what you have to do, you have to simply make a copy of it, and then here we'll have, let me check, this is actually contact number country. So let me define, the type will be phone or something like this, or number. What we can keep it, it's actually tel type, so telephone type. And here contact number, and the second one will be type text, placeholder will be country. So let me check it, this two section is done. And finally we'll have a text area sections. So after this we will have a text area, and this will be, we don't need to define any name or id, we can simply define placeholder. Write your message. Okay, and we'll have the same css, we can copy this css and paste it here. Additionally we'll have to define rows and calls. So rows will be 5, so let me define rows 5, and calls will be, okay, actually no calls, we don't need to calls, let me check it how it's looking. So here is perfect. And then we need a button, something like this. So after this text area we'll have a button, and this button will be send message. And here we will have type will be submit, and then we'll have css, class name will be wfull, p3 busy primary, text white, then we'll have rounded md, on hover will be busy primary 9th, something like this. So you can see here's colors effect. If you want to make the color effect much better, you will have something like this, you can see. Okay, the form is created. Now you can see when you add something like this, and this is sample text, then if you submit, you can see you will have a model, something like this type of model with your name. You can see this is the name that is defined at the top, you can see. So that's why we'll have to make something like this. So for making like this, here we'll have to define on the form, we'll have on submit and handle submit. Okay, so to make the handle submit, here we'll have to add a functions. So handle submit, so that will receive an event, and it's a arrow functions will have event.prevent defaults, not let me show it the alert. So here's what you have to do. At first you will have to define some user states to capture the data. So let me define const name, set name, and that would be use a state will be empty string. We can just copy it for 2 or 3 times. Then the second on will be, this is actually email, and here will be set email, then phone, set phone, then we'll have country, set country. Okay, finally we'll have a message, that would be set message, and finally we'll have model. So we'll have const show model, then set show model. So user state, this user state will be by default false first. So okay, all of this stuff is done. Now here's we can simply define data. So const data will be name, phone numbers, country, message, and everything. And then here we can simply console log the data. Okay, but you cannot get the data yet if you want, if you didn't set it. Here you can see this is the name, So we'll define on change, and here we'll have a events. We can just define that is actually set name. So that would be event dot target dot value. We'll have to add on change to the every field. So this is actually for the email. Let me define the set will be set email. Then this is for telephone, and that would be set phone. And then this is for country. So here we'll define set country, and finally for the text area, so set message. So if you do this now, let me check, go to the contact section, and here spec, let me go to contact sections, open the close everything, refresh it. Now look, there is no errors. And what if you define name, user's name, phone, and this is your message, and if anyone click this send button, you can see we're getting the data. If you have data, then you can show the model. So after this, we don't need to console log. What you have to do, you have to do check if no data, then we can simply show an alert, please fill the forms and return. Otherwise, what you can do, you can simply show the model. So to show model, set show model true. Okay, so this is set show model true, and then we'll have to write a function. So that is actually const close model, and that would be simply define set show model false, and then we'll have set name empty, set email empty, set phone empty, set country empty, set message empty. So everything is refreshed. Okay, so everything is fine. Now here's on the final div, actually we will have, after this we can simply define show model, and operators will have parenthesis, will have a div, and inside this div we'll have another div, and then we'll have a h2, that is actually thank you, and then we'll have a paragraph. We can simply define thank you, then your name will be rendered here, so name, then a comma, then for submitting your query. Okay, and then let me add some style on the h2. We'll have text to excel, font bold, margin bottom 4. On the paragraph, we don't need to define anything, and here we need a button. So button will be close button. Let me add styling. Here's margin top will be 4, then px will be 4, py will be 2, bg will be primary, then text will be white, rounded md. Okay, fine. And now we'll add a one click here, so that would be on click handle close or model close, something like this. Let me check close model. Actually, on click we'll have close model. Okay, fine. And let me define the css here. Here the first css will be busy white, busy white, then padding will be 8, then rounded MD, then shadow LG, and on the parent div of it we will have to define fixed, then insert 0, flex items center, justify center, busy black, busy opacity 90%. Okay, so let me check. Here's refresh everything. Add this is your text. Let me click here. You can see the model. If I close this, you can see this is your name is showing, and here is a close button. If you click this close button, it's actually gone. Okay, I think it's everything is working perfectly. And why the form is not resetting? Okay, so nothing issues here. Click here on submitting and everything is there. Fine. Finally, perfect. Everything is perfect. So let me close. Next step is that let me refresh it. And after then we'll have to make this footer sections and the animation section. That is the last part. So for the footer, actually, let me create a components. Footer.jsx rfce, and let me input it at the end footer components. And now we'll design the footer components. You can see this is the footer sections. We'll have to design this footer section something like this. So for the footer section, here we will have some css. So let me define class name. py will be 12, then busy will be 300, then px will be 8. And now if you check, you can see this is your footer. So inside this we will have a div, we will have container. So this is actually containers mx auto, then we will have read. So if this is not loading, wait, read, then we will have read calls. It's not suggesting. Let me press Ctrl Shift F and restart your window. And then maybe it's still loading. Okay, read calls. Okay, 1 by default on medium devices. Read calls 2, or okay, grid calls 4, and on small devices grid calls will be 2, and finally gap will be 8. So this is the thing at first here. So the first div, this will contain logos and images. So that's why inside this div we'll have another div, and inside this div we'll have a img tag. So this will be footer logo. So let me import footers logo from // assets / let me check the footer logo. This is the footer logo. Copy this and then paste it here after this slash. Okay, and now we'll render this footer logo. Let me add some class name here. Width will be 32 and then h will be auto. Okay, something like this. Let me check. This is footer logo, and then we have to define some css. Let me define class name, flex items center space x2, and after this, actually after this div we'll have a paragraph. and this is actually for lorem. Maybe we can just design lorem text something like this. So this is lorem text. We don't need this too much text. We can simply cut it maybe here. Now this is less text. Okay, we'll have to define class name. So for the paragraph, actually we'll have text para. Okay, so this is the colors, and finally after this paragraph we'll have another div. This div will be for the social icons. So inside these social icons we will have anchor tags, and that would be hash. Then we need to use icons, so we'll use icons from the fa icons, fa Facebook, f icons from React icons, and then here we can just define class name text xl, and then on the anchor tag we'll have class name. We'll have defined some background, so busy gray 200. Then text will be primary. We'll have rounded full. Then we will have size 10, flex, items center, justify center, hover will be busy primary, hover text will be text white. Okay, let me check. Here is the icons you can see, and we'll make some copy of these icons. 1 2 3 4. Maybe for the second one that would be Twitter. So fa Twitter, and the third one will be fa Instagram. Then fourth one will be fa LinkedIn. In okay, something like this. Let me check it. Here at the bottom we'll have all of this. So if you have all of this, this is the parent div. We can simply apply flex space x4, and now you can see it's now side by side, and we'll check the parent div. So this is the parent div. Here we will apply space y6 and margin right mr14. So now we can see this section is working perfectly, and we'll have to make other sections. So let me make the div. Here we'll have the same classes. We don't need these actually. And after this, what you will have to do, we will have h3. We can simply define quick links. Let me define class name. That would be text excel, font semi bold, and margin bottom 4. So let me check it. Here is quick links, and after this quick links we'll have eval tag. Inside this eval tag we'll have li tag, we'll have anchor tag, we'll have hash, that is home icons. So this is actually home. We will have some css. Let me define. The css will be hover underline, text will be gray 700. Okay, and on the eval tag actually we'll have class name space y3, and finally we can make some copy of it. So second one will be about Then here we'll have about us. Then third one will be services, and here will be services. Fourth one will be contact. Here's contact us. Okay, let me check it. This is something like this. We can just, okay, we make a big mistake actually. We'll have inside a list item, so let me remove the second one. We'll have another li, and we can cart services. Let me cart it, paste it here, and let me cart contacts, and we'll take a li, paste it here. So if you do this simply, you can see we'll have all the 4 items. Okay, after this we'll have supports and contact information, so we can simply copy this div again, and we can just define supports. Okay, and for the support actually FAQ, terms and service page. Okay, here you can simply define FAQs. Then second one will be terms of condition, terms of service actually, services, and we can just simply keep it as we don't have pages. Then third one will be privacy policies. You will have hash, and last one will be support center. Will have contact. Okay, nothing changes. Let me check it. Here's the support is done, and next the contact informations. So as we'll have everything, we can simply copy it, and now we'll have, this is contact info, and inside this actually, inside this list item, let me edit here. We'll have a icon, so that is actually if a map marker marked marker word, something like this icon. Let me define some CSS. Class name will be text primary color, and here we'll have to define a paragraph text, so that is actually text gray 700. Okay, so this is actually class name text gray 700, and inside this paragraph, that is actually address 123, then street, then city name, then country. Okay, and on the li tag we can simply define flex items center gap 2. Okay, and then what if you can just remove all this li tag, we can just make a copy of this li 3 times, and for the second one, that would be phone all tag. So let me define phone world, and this will be the number, so star 123 456 7890, and the last one will be fa envelope And here we'll have info at the red company. So mindleaf.com. Okay, so let me check it. Here is all of this stuff. So finally we have completed the footer section, so you can see. Now the next section is that we'll have to make our um animation, something like this. So if you hover, you can see this type of animation will work, will make all the animations in the next part. Okay, for the animation part, let me close everything, and here's we'll create a new folder on the src folder. So click src, then a new folder that is actually utils, and inside this utils folder we have animation variants dot js, and here we can just define const, and that is actually fade in animations. This is a function, actually you can just define any name here. And finally we'll have to export it, so let me export, and it will receive two things. It will receive direction and delay. Okay, and inside here actually we'll return, at first we'll have a parenthesis, and inside here we'll check hidden. So inside this hidden we will have y, then we will have direction, and this direction will be equal up. So if this direction will be up, we can simply define 40, then sorry, here actually after this app we'll have a question mark, then 40 we'll have a clone, then direction will be down, and then that will be minus 40, otherwise it will be 0. So this is the first one. Then we'll have opacity. So let me define opacity will be 0, and finally we'll have x clone, direction up. So direction, look, y-axis has two things. If you define this is y-axis, then you will have top and bottom, something like this. For example, here's look, if I want to show you, y-axis means this is top, this is down, so up and down. If you want to work with x-axis, then look, this is left, this is right, so left right, two things is there. And then here's the direction for the x-axis, that is actually left, then we'll have question mark, that is actually 40, clone, then direction equal right, and then we'll have question mark minus 40, otherwise 0. Okay, that is the thing when the your animation will be hidden. After this animation hidden, we'll have a show animation when the animation will show. So this will show when actually y equal 0, then x equal 0, then we will have opacity will be 1, then we'll have transition. So the text is actually transition, we'll have clone, we'll have objects, and here type will be TWN. Then we'll have duration will be 1.2. Then we'll have delay will be by default our delay, and is will be an objects, the objects will be by default 0.25, 0.25 comma 0.25 comma 0.75. Okay, our stuff is done simply. I hope you understand how it's perfectly working. And if you see here, you will have a hidden block. This is show block, and by default, sorry, by default everything is fine. So everything is perfectly working, and now we'll apply the animations. So at first let's apply to the hero section. So right now if you refresh, look, if you refresh nothing is happening, but we'll apply these animations on the hero. So at first let me import so something from framer motion. So framer motions, so what will import here, will import motions. So first look what the animation is working at the home. So here's this text will from the top, you can see wait, so it's coming from the top, and actually, and this image is from the left. Actually, let's refresh, it's from the left. Okay, so for this is left side, its text actually will add motion dot, and after this motion dot here actually we'll have to define some stuff. At first we'll have variants, so the variants will be our fade in. So fade in, if this fade in is not working, let me import fade in from where, dot slash utils slash animation variants, there is actually fade in. So we'll apply this fade in here. Then inside here actually we'll have to pass two things. First one is actually direction, so that is down, and then we'll have the duration, that is actually 0.2. Okay, and after this we'll have initial position will be by default this animation. So if I open, when the initial, it will be hidden by default. So you can simply copy this text and keep by default initial event, and then we'll have while in view, so that is actually by default show, and finally we will have viewport will be once, then that will be false. After then we'll have amounts, so amounts will be 0.7, so 0.7. And let's check, if I refresh, you can see this is working. And now we'll apply this css to the image. So this is actually the image block, and for the image block actually you can simply copy all of this stuff, and here this is image block. Let me define motion dot, and here actually we'll have to define all the stuff, and we'll make the fade in will be left. So if you define this, and let me check it, if you refresh, you can see image is scrolling from the left side and text is scrolling for the up. So you will have to use this everywhere. So this way, let me apply it for this service sections. We'll open it on service sections here. So let me define this text, so how the service is working. So here it will actually just applying these animation. Okay, so for this service animations, it's very simple. At first, we'll target this div. This is the block of the text, so we'll import the motion. So let me import motion from framer motion. We'll call motion here, and then we'll import the fade in animations. So that would be from dot slash utils slash animation variants. So that is actually fade in. And now we'll copy this all of these variants, and to viewport we'll have to copy these 4 lines, and we can keep it here. We'll have to define motion dot, and then here actually we can paste it. Instead of left, we can simply define that will be up, and let me check it. So if you refresh now, you can see it's up, and after then we'll apply the animation to the tab list. So where is the tab list? So this is the tab list. So here we'll define motion dot, and simply as usual we'll copy all of these 4 lines, paste it here, and that would be we don't need to change anything. We can just change the durations if you want. Let me refresh. Look how it's working. It's cool working. And now you will have to change animation to the these sections and these sections. So for this we'll have tab panel. So this is tab panel. Inside this we'll have a div. You can see this is the div. We'll have motion dot, and then we'll have to pass the 4 lines. We'll make this will be we don't need to change anything. So look, if you refresh, it's working. If you click, here's look, when you click the this on, it's actually perfectly showing. It's perfectly showing. And now we can have to do this for others tip panel. So this is motion dot, paste the copied variants. So it's actually 4 line. You will have to define the direction, and the amounts is here, and everything is unchanged. Here this is another div panel, motion dot, then paste it. You don't need to define it. Everything will be from the up. And last one, motion dot, finally paste it. Okay, so I can see here is working. If you click this on, it's working animations. You can see it's perfectly working. Okay, so this way actually you will have to apply all the animations, and for these actually you can see it's coming from the top to bottom. So for this actually this is maybe about sections. Here so we can simply apply animations to this div. So let me, at first we'll have to import motions, import something like this motion from framer motion, then variants, import fade in variants from dot slash utils slash animation. So that is actually fade in. We'll have to apply it on this. So motion dot, and then we'll have to paste the 4 line. Instead of this we can just define down. Okay, now if you refresh it, you can see it's actually from the top. So down means from the top, and here's the animation is top. So this is actually a working process. Let me add this way again. Import from framer motion. Here we'll import motion, then import the animation, import fade in animation from dot slash utils slash animations, that is fade in. Now apply it. So at first if you refresh, you can see it's something like this. So we can simply apply css to the relative div here. So you can simply define motion dot and simply we'll pass it. We'll define it up. So let me check, refresh, it's up. You can see it's working up. And I give you a task, you will have to apply all the rest animation. I hope you can able. And now we'll deploy these projects. How you can deploy it, we'll deploy these projects to the Vercel. So that's why what we will do, let me close all of this stuff. And here's actually we'll have to create a vercel.json file. But if you search, let me go to vercel.com. Actually we don't have to go to Vercel config. You can simply search vercel config and then click this. And from here, look, this is the documentations. You can go to documentations, and here actually you can just click this build options. Then where is actually, let me just okay, you can have to click this framework. Then you will have build options, and if you see here, you can see a vercel.json file to make the single page applications. You have to use this. You can simply, let me show you, we will go to the documentation, then you will click this frameworks, then you will have bit, and you will have to scroll this. And if you scroll this, and you will see a sections using bit to make single page applications. You will have to create a vercel.json file on the root directory. The root directory means you will have to click this package.json and click this new file and paste vercel.json file. And all you have to do, copy it, paste it here. So your task is done. And now create a git repository and host it finally to the GitHub. So let me define GitHub. So I'm going to my GitHub. Let me create a new repository and define a name. So that is actually mindlib react app or something like this. And then what you have to do, create these repositories. You will have to add all of this command one by one, and that's why we will open the terminal. On the right side our project is running, so on the left side you can just add a clear command, so to clear everything. And now make sure you are on the folder directory. You will have to paste the first command, then git init, copy it, paste it. Then you will have to define git add. Don't add everything, actually we will add git add. So we'll simply paste it, git add, and here we'll define dot means it will actually add everything to the GitHub. So we'll define a dot here, and after then we'll have this, we'll have to commit it. So let me git commit. After then we'll have to copy this one, paste it here. Finally this one, paste it here, press enter. And the last one, copy it, paste it. So you can see writing project objects, and when it's 100%, then if you refresh here, you can see you will have a GitHub repository. And now what you have to go to, you have to go to vercel.com, and then this is the Vercel dashboard. You can click this dashboard from here, and now create a project, import your latest projects. It's just now, you can see I'm just hosting GitHub right now, and we'll click this import button. You don't have to do anything here. You can have to simply click this deploy. The front end deployment is very easy, so wait until it's complete. So it's still on the development mode, sorry, deployment mode. Okay, so click this continue to dashboard. Here you will have a domains, you will have to open it, click here, and then you can see your project is working, and you can see the animation is also working. If you scroll, everything is showing perfectly. Let me check if the image is show the hello video is showing. Yes, the video is showing. Then this is the section. Look, the image is showing perfectly. This is the section. This is all of these sections. Let me click the navigations. It's a scroll navigations. Click services page, about, price section, testimonial sections. Let me check if the uh, send message is working. This is sample message. Click. So it's actually showing model and everything is perfect. I hope you can understand how you have to create a project using React and Tailwind CSS. And let me know your comments. I hope it will just help you a lot.